In the next few lessons, we'll be using test data to make some concepts easier to learn. Click on the link in this lesson description to download it now. Next, create a folder off the root of your project called Data. Then move your data file over to this new folder in your project. Let's open it up and take a peek. It contains an array of home objects, each with various properties that we'll be using in the upcoming lessons. After you've looked around, go ahead and close the file. Now let's update our homepage a little bit. Open index.view and remove everything except for template and our first div tag. Next, we'll create a whole new section called script. Sound familiar? Yes. In Nuxt, a page is just a view component with extra features. Let's import our homes so we can display them. Since this is a component, we'll need to export a default object. So let's do that now. In order to make our homes array available to our template, we need to create a data function in our export that returns an object. Add a property called homes and return the first 3 homes by slicing the array. Now let's add another div in our template and use v-for to loop through our homes array. For now, let's just display the homes title so we have something to look at. Toss in a line break at the end so it looks nice when we add more data later. Let's save. Let's take a look at our browser. Perfect, our title showed up. Now let's tweak our import a bit. Since Nuxt uses Webpack under the hood, we can actually make this simpler. In Nuxt, tilde means the root of the project, and JS and .json files are already understood, so this cleans up really nicely. It's best practice in Vue to use a key for v-for, so let's add that now using home.objectID. Now let's add more detail to this home section so we can see what we're working with. We'll start by adding a home image using the images property. It's an array, so let's just use the first image for now. Let's make the width 200 so it fits on the page. Then we'll add line breaks to everything as we go. Save and check the browser. Nice. Next, let's fill out the address area. This will be using the location property. It's an object with the properties of address, city, and state. Let's add those below the title. Next, let's add the number of guests the house can hold using the guest property. Let's add the word guests after it so people know what the number means. Now let's add the price using the price per night property. Let's also add a slash in the word night so it's obvious what it represents. Let's save and see how it looks in the browser. This is looking a little bit crazy. For now, let's float each home to the left and add a margin of 10 for good measure. Ah, that looks better. As you can already see, this one section is growing pretty quickly. It's starting to look like a card component, so why don't we migrate it to its own component now? Create a new folder called Components. This folder doesn't do anything special, it's just a convention. Move everything inside the V4 into a component called Home Card. We'll take a home object as a prop. Let's make it required by setting required to true. Whoops, looks like I have those in the wrong order. Now let's use this component in our home page. Import Home Card from the Components folder and add it to the Components property of our page. Now add the Home Card tag inside your V4 and pass the Home object as a value for the Home property. Let's save and check our browser. Great, everything still looks good. Next, I want to show you a new feature of Nux that's pretty cool. Create a new file in the root of your project called nux.config.js. As you probably guessed, this is the Nux config file, and it is a powerhouse. It controls everything in your project from meta tags to build overrides. It has a ton of features, so feel free to check it out by clicking the link in your lesson. Let's add a default export and a property called components with the value of true, and save. Now let's go back to the home page and get ready because this is going to blow your mind. Remove the import for the card component and the component section, and save. Let's take a look at the browser. Yes, the page still works. What we added was a flag to tell Nux to enable auto imports. What this does is it looks through your project folders for components with the same name as the tag in your template and automatically imports them and attaches them to the right component instance. Say goodbye to component boilerplate. This doesn't add any bloat to your app. It's just as if you imported the components yourself. Now that we have some basic info on our homepage, let's take a look at how we can define meta tags.